Yes, good morning, all. Am I audible? Good morning. Am I audible? Suhana?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, we'll start. We'll continue with the topics that we have left. So, in the previous class, we were discussing about the various random variables, that is continuous random variable, discrete random variable, and the mixed random variable. And we have started with the probability models for the continuous random variable. And as you can see here, the screen is visible, right? So here first we have discussed the uniformly distributed random variable. So here, for example, we have taken a sinusoidal carrier wave. So in which the wave is going to be repeated for every plus or minus pi radians. So for that we have seen the equations of PDF and the CDF. And next we have taken with the exponential random variable. So this exponential random variable, it can be used in the case of the measure of the failure rates whenever we want to measure the reliability. So in such cases we can go with the exponential random variables. So for this also we have seen the equations of PDF and the CDF. So as you can see here, and in both the cases, so here in the case of the uniformly distributed random variable, the CDF, it is going to be continuous, and also it is non-decreasing from 0 to the 1. And also here the derivative, that is the differentiation of the CDF, it exists everywhere except at y is equal to y1 and y is equal to y2. And in the case of the exponential, the CDF, it exists everywhere except at x is equal to 0. So except this x is equal to 0, you can find the differentiation of the random variable. And the third one is, so here we are going to discuss about the Gaussian distribution, or which is also called as the normal distribution. So here when we are going to use this Gaussian distribution, so first we'll look into that. So, whenever, suppose if the observation is measured repeatedly, and those observations or outcomes, whatever we are going to observe, if they are independent, and the sum of all those observations, they tends to be in the form of a classical bell-shaped curve. So that is called as, or that shape, it will be considered as the Gaussian shape. So here, because of that reason, so we are going to measure, we are going to say such observation as the Gaussian distribution. So for example, we can consider the temperature noise or the thermal noise in a resistor. So whenever we are going to measure the thermal noise in a resistor, it will be measured in terms of the voltage values. So those voltage values, so they are going to be distributed in the bell-shaped curve, because whenever the noise voltage that we are going to measure, so that is going to be resulted due to the additive effect of the motion of the thermally agitated electrons. So whenever the resistor is going to be get heated, so here due to the heat that we are going to apply, the electrons, they are going to be displaced from those from their place. So due to the motion of such electrons, so here the voltage, it is going to be varied. So the sum of all those voltages, so it is going to be produce a noise which will be in the form of a bell-shaped curve. So that type of distribution, it will be called as the Gaussian distribution or the thermal distribution. And here for the Gaussian distribution, the PDF curve. So here, as I told, so it will be in the form of a bell-shaped curve. So here you can see the Gaussian distribution. So here, whatever the first diagram we are going to see. So here in this, we are going to show the figure of the PDF, which will be in the bell-shaped curve. So which is distributed from -3 to +3. And at the right side, so here whenever you'll be taking the integration of this PDF, so it will be resulted in the CDF. So here you can see that it will be varying from -3 up to +3 along the Z axis. So here this is the standard value that we are going to consider. So, and as I told, so here the PDF, always it will be represented using the small letter whereas the CDF it will be represented using the capital letters. So for that reason, so here whatever the diagram you are going to see here, so here the first PDF it is represented as small fz of z, and CDF it is represented as capital Fz of z. And the PDF for the corresponding Gaussian distribution it is given by the equation Fz of z is equal to 1 by root 2 pi e to the power minus z square by 2. And this value exists for z with the value minus infinity up to plus infinity. And always the PDF it is non-negative for the Gaussian distribution. And the corresponding CDF for this Gaussian distribution, it is given as capital Fz of z is equal to 1 by root 2 pi integral minus infinity up to the point z where we would like to find the CDF. It is given as e to the power minus u square by 2 into du. And also here the whatever the area that is covered under the PDF, always it will be equal to 1. That we have to keep in mind. And whenever this z, whatever the upper limit you are going to see, suppose if this z it tends to the value infinity, in that case, so here the integration from minus infinity to plus infinity e to the power minus z square by 2 dz, it will be equal to root 2 pi. So this is the standard derivation that is been done. So here root 2 pi divided by root 2 pi, it will be getting cancelled with each other. So it will be resulting in the value 1. So here you can say that whenever it will be covering the entire area, z is equal to minus infinity plus up to plus infinity. So here the CDF always it will be equal to 1. And for the Gaussian distribution, the CDF it is continuous and also it is not decreasing from 0 to 1. So always you must keep in mind that, so here the values it will be varying from 0 to 1. And for the Gaussian distribution, the derivative of the CDF it exists everywhere. So not like in case of uniformly distributed or the exponential. So for that we were excluding some points. But in the case of the Gaussian distribution, so you can find the derivative of the CDF everywhere. And also here, whatever the equation you have seen here, that is the equation number 2, that is capital Fz of z is equal to 1 by root 2 pi integral minus infinity up to plus z e to the power minus u square by 2 du. So this equation, it cannot be solved directly in the closed form. So for that reason, we are going to use some numerical values that are going to be tabulated. So for that reason, so here whatever the equation 2 we have seen, so for that we can write the equation as phi of z is equal to fz of z. So you cannot directly go with the integration. So for that you need to take the values, and you have to tabulate the values numerically from the table. So for that we are going to make use of the appendix D. So I have given appendix D for you people. So all the appendix A up to H I have given for you people, that is been distributed. So if using appendix D, so in that they have given the values for the Gaussian distribution, which is distributed from 0 to plus 3. So here using those values, using those numerical values, we can find the value of the CDF. Phi of z is equal to fz of z. So here as you can see, as I told, so phi of z, it is nothing but the CDF value. It can be calculated for the value of z, which is distributed from 0 to 3. And suppose what if the values of this z is negative? So in such case, how we are going to find the value of the phi of z or the CDF fz of z? So here whatever the negative range we are going to take, so here that will be minus 3 up to 0. So as we have seen in the graph, so here the Gaussian distribution, it has been distributed from minus 3 to plus 3. So that you can observe in the figure that is being drawn here. So right. So here for that 0 to 3, so directly from the table you can tabulate and you can obtain the value of the CDF. But when you come to the negative values, minus 3 up to 0, so in such cases we can find the value of the phi of minus z, or using the equation phi of z is equal to 1 minus phi of minus z. So using the same equation you can obtain phi of minus z. So what would be the equation of phi of minus z? Phi of minus z, it will be equal to 1 minus phi of z. So now we will take one or two examples in order to see how this value will be calculated. So take example, so as shown here. Yes, all of you, yes, can you Are you listening? Abhishek, Abhishek Patil, Anusha,
Yes, ma'am.
take on this problem.
Yes,
I will
ma'am.
just explain how to do this. So here uh, we have given the value of z as 0.9347. So for this value, we need to calculate phi of z. So here, as you can see that z, it is taking the value from 0.9347. So here, but whenever you will be observing in the table, so here all of you have the appendix, right? So you just open the appendix that is been given to you. I'll just open that. So here it is in the page number. Go to appendix D here. Appendix D. Appendix D, it is in the page number 330. So whatever that has been given in your PDF, you just go to the page number 8. So are you seeing those tables in page number 8 and 9? You have given with the Gaussian distributed values for z varying from 0 to 3. So in that, so since we are asked to find the value of phi of z is equal to 0.9347. So here we are going to get the value of the CDF phi of z. So using the interpolation method, just I'll go with the method uh, using notebook. We'll just see how I'm going to solve this. Are you seeing this page, Microsoft page? Whatever I'm writing, are you able to see this? ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ?
No, ma'am.
ಈ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಬರೀತಾ ಇರೋದು?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
No,
just
ma'am.
a minute. 1 minute. Now, is it visible now? Z is
Yes,
equal to
ma'am.
1.47. Yes. So for this, we want to find phi of z. So we want to find CDF. So phi of z is nothing but the fz of z, capital Fz of z. We are asked to find. So now z is equal to 0.9347. So here this has to be found between the value 0.93 up to 0.94. So here this whatever 0.9347, so this has been given. It is calculated using the interpolation method. So now we are going to apply the method called as interpolation method. So now we can write, as we know, phi of z, it is obtained using the equation. How we are going to solve this? So first, as I told, this 0.9347, it lies between 0.93 up to 0.94. So now we want to write, first we have to write phi of 0.93. We have to tabulate the values of phi of 0.93 and phi of 0.94 from the appendix that is been given. So now I'll just go back to the appendix. Yes, open the appendix. So here in that, we, as I told, we had to tabulate the value of 0.93, right? So on the first column, you can see the values of z, right? So here we have 0.0, 0.1, 0.2, and so on, right? So here we have 0.9, and then for the corresponding value, you just go with the row values. So here at the first, second, third, fourth, at the fifth column, you can see 0.3. So here that will be giving the value of 0.93. So 0.93 is how much here? Anyone reply? 0.93 is how much? Yes, reply me back.
0.8238.
Yes, 0.8238. So you have to note down that value. I'll just write here. Later I'll just share the screen. So that value is 0.8238. And next, we had to tabulate the value of 0.94. So here 0.94 is how much from the table? 0.94 is 0.8264. Is it correct? 0.8264. 0.8264. So this is the value of 0.93 and 0.94. Yes. Are you seeing this screen now? We have noted 0.93 and 0.94 Gaussian distributed values from the table. So now we want to find phi of 0.9347, so which is obtained using the interpolation method. So here, in order to use this, so here first we are going to write phi of 0.93 value minus, so here in both the 0.93 and 0.94, the first digit is 0.8. So you have to write that value 0.8. So into phi of 0.93 minus phi of 0.94. Yes. What is phi of 0.93? Phi of 0.93 is 0.8238 minus 0.8. Within the flower bracket, I will be writing these values. 0.8238 minus 0.8264. Solve this and tell me what answer you are going to get for 0.9347. Just tell me what is the answer that you are going to get.
Minus 0.66164, ma'am.
Whatever within the flower bracket, that has to be multiplied with minus 0.8, then it has to be added with plus 0.8238. So simplify the whole thing and tell me the answer. So this is 0.8238 minus 0.8. Within the flower bracket, you will be getting the answer with negative value, right? So that is how much? Minus 6 minus 0.0026, right? So that you need to multiply with minus 0.8. So that it will become plus. So ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರುತ್ತೆ? Yes, reply. 0.8 into minus 0.026 plus value ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರುತ್ತೆ? ಕಾವ್ಯ?
Yes, ma'am.
0.8 into 0.026 ಮಾಡಿದ್ರ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ?
Ma'am, total answer 0.82588.
82588.
0.82588. So let me check with my answer. Point 8250. So almost it is the equivalent value. So this is how we are going to make the calculation for phi of z. Similarly, suppose if you are asked to calculate phi of minus 0.9347. So then how we are going to calculate? Suppose if you are asked to calculate for the negative value, in that case, suppose if you are asked to calculate for phi of minus 0.9347. So if this is been asked, then simply you have to perform 1 minus of phi of z. So phi of z is nothing but whatever positive value we have, 0.9347. So for this you have obtained from the table 1 minus phi of 0.9347. Phi of 0.9347 is 0.8250. So this is equal to whatever the answer you'll be getting. That is almost it will be equal to 0.17, right? 17 ಏನೋ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So like this, you need to calculate for the positive values as well as for the negative values of the z. And next, take one more example. You have to solve this by your own. So find the value of z. Here inverse we are asking. So given with the value phi of z is equal to zero point 0.6. So when you are given phi of z is equal to zero point 0.6, so in that case, how we are going to find the value of the z? So this is almost the inverse method that we need to follow. Copy down this. So we'll see how to find the value of z given phi of z. So here as you can see that we know that phi of z it is given by y. So or z it can be written as phi inverse of y. So now in the next step, so here as we have to tabulate the value of 0.6 with the help of the table. So here approximate values of 0.6 we have to note down. So here from the table, so whatever the appendix you are going to see, so here you can see that zero point 0.2 up to this 0.594 it is there. Next we'll see the next, go to the next page. So in this we have 0.25 with the value 0.5987 and 0.26 with the value 0.6026. So you have to note on these two values so that we can apply the interpolation method in order to calculate the value of the z. So here whenever we'll be asking to find the value of this z, so here as we know phi of z is equal to y, or z is equal to phi inverse of y. So if we are given with the value of phi of z which is equal to 0.600, so but here exact value we may not get in the table. So what we do is we are going to take the approximate or the nearest values of phi of z from the table. So when you observe that, so here in the second page, you can see the tabulated values 0.25 and 0.26. So they are approximately equal to 0.6. So here you have to note down this 0.25 as 0.5987 and 0.26 as 0.6026. So after copying this value, next you can go with the same steps. So here we have noted this value, and then you can go with the value of the 0.25 or whatever 0.66, that in order to find the value of this z. So I'll just show the method in the screen. So here we are noted 0.25, phi of 0.25 and phi of 0.26 values. So here this is equal to how much we had, that is being taken as 0.5987, 0.5987 and 0.26 is 0.6026, 0.6026, and we have given with the value phi of z is equal to 0.600. So here exact values will not get in the table. So for that we are going to make use of the interpolation method. So here we know that phi of z is equal to y, which implies z is equal to phi inverse of y. So whatever the method that we have used to calculate phi of z, the same method we are going to make use here. So here we want to find phi inverse of 0.66, 0.600. So for which value it is going to be obtained. So for that we are going to write phi of 0.25 minus in both the values. Just a minute. So here we are going to write phi inverse of 0.5987, that you have to keep in mind, and minus in both the values, it has been 0.2 is common within the flower bracket. Phi inverse of 0.5987 minus 5 inverse of 0.60 0.6026. So this method you are going to apply. So phi inverse of 0.987 is nothing but 0.25 minus zero point 0.2. In both the values it is common. Next 0.25 minus 0.26. So if you do this, you will get the value of phi inverse of 0.600. Solve ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರುತ್ತೆ? Shall I repeat this method once again? Shall I repeat this, or are you able to do this? Bindu, Bindu.
Yes, ma'am.
ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸಲಿ ಹೇಳ, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ?
Yes, ma'am.
ಏನು ಯಾವ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಮ?
ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತು ma'am.
ಮಾಡಿ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳಿ. ಫೈ ಇನ್ವರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್, ನೀವು ಝೆಡ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಬರೀಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಿ, ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ವರ್ಸ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಫೈ ಇನ್ವರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ 0.5987 ಅಂಡ್ ಫೈ ಇನ್ವರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ 0.6026 ಇವೆರಡು ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರುತ್ತೆ?
0.252.
Yes, this is minus 0.01, and you just solve this and you get the
0.252 ma'am.
yes. Okay, so like this, when you are given with other problems, you should be able to solve this. Okay, next we'll go with the examples, probability models of discrete random variable. So here, discrete random variables in the sense at a discrete instant of time or at discrete instant of values, you will be having the probability values. And other than the given discrete values, at other places, the value of the probability will be 0. So now we are going to consider one example. So here let us consider a random variable capital X with a discrete probability value, and it is given in this table. You just go with these values. So here we are given with the outcomes which are independent. So and they are taken as XA, XB, XC. Kill the time now. And for each outcome XA, XB, XC, the corresponding probability P of X is equal to X is being given. So the probability of XA is 0.24, probability of XB is 0.32, and probability of XC is 0.44. And as I told, so only at given discrete values of X, so we have non-zero probabilities. So here these entire observations, they can be written in a set, and that can be given as Sx is equal to within the flower bracket Xa, Xb, Xc. And the sum of all these probabilities of all these observation, it must be equal to 1. So here what we can write for the discrete random variable, so probability of X is equal to Xa plus probability of X is equal to Xb and probability of X is equal to Xc, it must be equal to 1. And we have seen in the definition of the CDF, so fx of x, it is equal to probability of x less than or equal to x. So here this equation, it is going to be applied for this table. So how we are going to draw the CDF? So in many of the problems, you will be given with the values and you may ask to write the PDF and the CDF plot. So now here first we'll write the CDF values. So here from the table, as you can see that XA, probability of XA, it is equal to 0.24, right? So now in the plot, we are going to make x-axis as well as the y-axis. So along the x-axis, you are going to have the observation XA, XB, XC. And along the y-axis, you are going to write the values of the probability. So the first probability is 0.24 and the next probability is 0.32. So here when you add 0.32 with 0.24, so the cumulative probability will be 0.56. And similarly 0.56 when it is added with the 0.44, the total probability will be equal to 1. So here using that, so here as we can see that we have shown the random variables xca, xb, xc here. So here xca, it occurs with the probability 0.24. So this 0.24, it is going to remain up to xp. And as we know, the probability of xb is 0.56, sorry, 0.32. So here after 0.24, so next add 0.3 to this, so that we'll get the cumulative probability as 0.56. So here from xp, you are going to show the value as 0.56 up to xc. And when you add the probability of xc is equal to 0.44 to this 0.56, so the value will be 1. So here from xc, you are going to show the value as 1. So here this is how you are going to draw the CDF. And always remember that the CDF for the discrete random variable, it will look like a staircase. So here for XA, so simply whatever the first value we have, draw this up to XB and then add the probability of XB to the previous probability 0.24, so that you will be getting 0.56 and you have to show this probability up to XC. And next add the probability of XC to the probability of previous random variable. So here 0.44 plus 0.56 is 1.00. So you have to show this value. So this is how you are going to write the CDF plot. So now from the graph, so here you can write the CDF values. Fx of xa is equal to 0.24 and fx of xa plus in the sense, so from the starting point xa onwards to the right side up to xp. So that will be considered as fx of xa plus. So that is equal to 0.24 itself. So up to this point it remains same 0.24. And fx of xa minus. So xa minus in the sense on the left side you have to observe. So on the right left side of xa, so there is no probability. So for that you can write the value as 0.00. So here you can say that at discrete observations, so the continuity is from the right side indicated by a solid points, whatever the solid circle you are going to see on the left side of the each line segment. So here these are nothing but a line segment. So here on the left side of this line segment we have a circle and it will be moving towards the right. And similarly, the same statement, similar type of statements, it can be given for fx of xp. So from the uh, diagram, fx of xb is nothing but 0.56. So what would be the fx of xb plus fx of xb plus? Once again, it remains same as 0.56. But what about fx of xb minus? Fx of xb minus, when you go towards the left, so here we have 0.56 at the x is equal to xb, and on to the left side we have 0.24. So here you have to subtract these two. So 0.56 minus 0.24. So that will be equal to 0.32. So this 0.32, it is nothing but fx of xb minus. So I'll repeat once again. Fx of xb. So at this point, it will be equal to 0.56. And fx of xb plus, that is towards the right side of the graph. So once again, it will take the value 0.56. But when you ask for fx of xb minus, so here then we have to perform the operation 0.56 minus 0.24, that is equal to 0.32. Similarly, what is fx of xc? Fx of xc is 1. Fx of xc plus is also 1. Fx of xc minus is 1 minus 0.56, that will be equal to 0.44. So this is how you have to write the values. So from these observations, so here we can say that the CDF, it can be expressed in terms of the unit step function. So here we can write the CDF fx of x as 0.24 u of x minus xa plus 0.32 u of x minus xb plus 0.44 u of x minus xc. And the corresponding PDF associated with the CDF, it can be written in terms of the unit impulse function. So remember one thing. So for the discrete random variable, the CDF, it is expressed in terms of the unit step function, whereas the PDF, it is the inverse of the CDF. So that you can say, so the PDF, it can be expressed in terms of unit impulse function. So here what we can write, small fx of x is equal to 0.24 delta of x minus xc. So delta indicates the impulse, plus 0.32 delta of x minus xb plus 0.44 delta of x minus xc. So using this equation, the corresponding PDF plot can be shown. So here at x is equal to xa, so the probability is 0.24. So that is at a discrete instant of observation, you are going to show the probability values. That is at x is equal to xp 0.32, at x is equal to xc 0.44. So here the whatever the vertical arrow we are symbolized here, so that represents a unit impulse function. So here whatever we have seen, this can be generalized for finite number of the discrete random variables, so that we can write sx is equal to xi, where I, it may take the value 1 up to n, and the probability pi, it can be written as p of x is equal to xi, whatever the table that we have written. So using that we can make this statement. And also here the probability, as I told in the previous classes, so the probability associated with the discrete random variable, it is called as the probability mass function. And whatever the values that I was explaining, so here from those values you can make these two statements, that is fx of xi plus minus fx of xi is equal to 0, because from the graph you can observe the graph here, xa plus is 0.24 and fx of xa is also 0.24. So here 0.24 minus 0.24, it will be resulting in the value 0. And similarly fx of xb is 0.56 and fx of xb plus is also 0.56. So when you subtract those two, it will be resulting in the value of the 0. So using those statement, we have make a general statement as fx of xi plus minus fx of xi, always it will be equal to 0. And similarly, fx of xi minus fx of xi minus, it will be resulting in the value of the probability. So here you can observe that in the